Welcome to the Write Your Own Story podcast. I'm your host, Betsy Leonidas, and the founder of the Write Your Own Story company. Girl, I can tell you right now, you are definitely enough. Here we value service, sisterhood, connection, laughter, and that super genuine, keep it real, tell you like it is honesty. My hope is at the end of each episode, you realize you can do whatever it is you dream about and that you are not alone with what you struggle with. I'm hoping that you are snapping and clapping and hell yes in your way through each one of these episodes. So if this tracks with you, let's get started. I'm so glad you're here. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Write Your Own Story podcast. I am your host, Betsy Leonidas, and I am so excited to be here with Lisa Weintraub. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. How fun is this?
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So you guys may know Lisa from being on the most recent Big Brother on CBS. And she is also a very multifaceted entrepreneur and a celebrity chef, among many other things. And I am so excited that you reached out to chat all things being strong women and an entrepreneur. When we were chatting, kind of teeing up what we wanted this episode to be about. So when I start every episode, I love to really lay the intention to make sure that all the conversation is obviously incredibly authentic, but grounded in how we are here to serve the female community. And what I loved that you teed up was really around encouraging women to have an authentic voice and a vision and to be brave enough to do things differently. I am obsessed. I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay. So Lisa, we know, let me see, I did some bio work. So let's see here. Let me just do a quick little intro and then I'm going to let you take it over and tell us all about Lisa from your point of view. But Chef Lisa will bring you farm to your table dining experience into your home. Offering personal chef and catering services, a touch of zest will be added to make any occasion a special one. She offers personal chef services, recipe box ideas, event catering and production, and has launched a bachelorette-specific line of services. Plates by Lisa offers a curated food experience, organic, healthy, global cuisine customized to your plate. And as I mentioned, most recently, a contestant on the reality TV show Big Brother on CBS. All right.
I mean,
yeah, those are really that is a great range of things. Okay. So tell us we want to know all about Lisa. Tell us more about you.
Yes. Thank you so much again for having me here and helping share the story that I have written as my own as a female entrepreneur. First and foremost, it is such a blessing to be able to create my own way of doing things and to carve out my own path in this life as a career woman, as a friend, as a community member, and make my impact in the world, putting everything that I find meaningful behind everything that you see that I do personally and professionally. So thank you again for having me. I'm Lisa. I am a celebrity chef here in Los Angeles, California. I also have coined the term vibe curator because I am more than just your chef. I love to set the tone wherever I go, bringing good vibes, good energy, intention, sustainability, and organic healthy cuisine in catering. For Batch Best Friend, we bring glitter and good vibes for an elevated catering service. I really wanted to change the food industry and create a new way of dining. About 11 years ago, I launched my company, Plates by Lisa, and it started with meal prep in my kitchen and has grown to a very large company. I do event production as well. I work with high-end celebrity clients, and I launched Batch Best Friend because I wanted to create accessibility in the food world so everyone could experience dining like queens. And what better way to celebrate people on their journey to the altar? We do bachelorette, bachelor, or however people identify. Love is love, and we love to celebrate it with good food. And then beyond that, I am a female entrepreneur. And obviously, most recently, I was on Big Brother 26 because nothing can stop your girl, and I can do anything and everything that I set my mind to.
I am literally obsessed. I hope that my daughter, I can't wait for her to see the clips of these. She's always like, Mom, I saw you on YouTube again. For her to hear words like, I can do anything and everything, because heck yeah, we can. And I love that what you have built is such an extension of who you are, both from a vibe, energy, intention perspective, but what your gifts are really have translated into this business. I love this. Okay. So I was doing a little research prior to the episode, of course, and it sounds like you went to Miami of Florida, correct? Yes. The U. Well, I went to Miami of Ohio, so we're going to have to debate about that off camera. It's it's like a big Who's the Real Miami. It's so funny. My ex-husband went to your University of Miami, and it's just like a total running joke within the family, but I love it. What a beautiful school. But did you go to culinary school there? Was this your intention to come out of college and be a chef?
So it's a great story and love the Miami. I think I didn't even
Yes.
know that there was a Miami of Ohio when
Oh,
I
there
was
is.
being like, oh, people like when you're younger, like, where are you going to college? I'm like, Miami. And they're like, of Ohio or Florida? And I was like, of Ohio.
Yeah,
So that's how
totally.
I found out there's a Miami of Ohio. And it's like, Miami, Ohio, Florida, like
Kind of
so
different.
different. But I'm sure you got like we both had great experiences, and
Oh
I
my
love
God.
your
Time of
membership
my
with it.
life. Oh, take me back to college stat, please.
Right. Back to your question.
Yes.
How did I get my start? So it actually started with a no. I studied entrepreneurship marketing and sociology at University of Miami in their business school.
Love it.
I loved the program entrepreneurship first. I think the first time I heard the word entrepreneur was when I was selling hot chocolate to the muggles at a Harry Potter bookstore when the Harry Potter book was released at midnight. And
Oh
so
my
I
God.
sold hot chocolate with marshmallows to the muggles waiting in line. And someone goes, "You're an entrepreneur." And I think I was like, what, 10 maybe, something around there, maybe in my teens. And I was like, "What's that big
Yeah.
word?" And they explained what an entrepreneur was. And I was like, "Oh, that is me." And then I followed that in my career path, and that brought me to University of Miami. I am self-trained as a chef. I didn't go to culinary school. I grew up cooking with my mom,
Oh,
and I wanted to open up my own restaurant. So after college, I moved back to LA, tried to open up my own restaurant. It started with a no. I don't know if it was because I was young, inexperienced, or a female, but I took that no as an entrepreneur and turned it into my yes, brought the restaurant experience into people's homes, was very open to what people wanted, said yes to everything, pretty much everything. I just, yes for years. And
yeah.
I think those yeses that I made out of a no, I was able to transform the industry by being open to what people needed, figuring out who I was and my path in my 20s. And then it meandered into someone was like, "Do you do catering?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do catering."
Yeah, I do catering. That's
Didn't do
amazing.
catering, but figured it out. And then
Yep.
someone's like, "Do you do event production?" And I just learned along the way because I was on site working with event producers and in different spaces that gave me the opportunity to learn and grow. And then, it started with meal prep in my kitchen, and then I transformed it into catering, and I found out that I loved catering. I loved event production. But if I didn't say yes to those steps along the way, I wouldn't be to where I am. I've also built a beautiful network of amazing clients that I'm so grateful to have, and that I used my business instincts to say yes to the right opportunities and build those relationships based off of integrity and respect. And I have cultivated relationships that have put me into some high profile situations along with some iconic celebrities that I'm very grateful to work with as well.
Okay, I have a lot of questions about that. But what I'm obsessed with as I'm hearing this is that you said yes, and we're just sort of open minded to so many things. But what I love is that right out of the gate, from an entrepreneurship perspective, is like you weren't like, I'm everything, I do everything. You're like, I'm starting here. And you kind of sort of like let the universe and what you're great at and passionate about. And I also love that you said you used your business sense, which is also part of the female intuition, just to be like, okay, I'm saying yes, but does this serve me? Does this add to the vision of what I have for my life and for my business? So, as much as it was like I said yes to everything, it still feels very intentional and like at this beautiful pace of, I'm sure it was so fast paced. And you're just like, oh my God, yeah, I do that. And you're just like making it up and drowning at the same time as all of us entrepreneurs are. But the fact is that you were open and willing and kind of just like let the timing work out for yourself. I think I see that a lot with female entrepreneurs is that we feel so desperate to prove ourselves. And I certainly have fallen trapped to that we just want to be everything and everything from the start. And I think it's such great example that you set to be like, say yes, but just kind of continue to let your business evolve and use your intuition to guide it. That,
Exactly. And
yeah,
where I am now, if you asked me, what is it now, 11 years,
yeah,
I would never say I would be here. And these are the
yeah,
things that I would do. I never set out to be a celebrity chef or a reality TV star. I set out to build connection and
yeah.
create experiences
I love
and
that.
bring food and love into people's homes, into people's worlds by being myself in my profession.
I love that.
And it opened so many doors for me. And these doors didn't open on their own. I will say it is 11 every day is hard work as an entrepreneur sitting in your apartment
Yep.
on your computer out in the world. I saw you're not supposed to read the comments, but I saw someone make a comment. They're like, oh, Lisa's PR team's doing a really good job. You're looking at your PR team.
Yep. That a
You
girl.
know, as an entrepreneur and as you're building until you're in a certain place,
Yeah.
you're doing everything yourself. And I think that's a common misconception that there's someone behind you. I've built a team of amazing people over 10 years, but 6 years ago, it was me, myself, and I. And now a lot of times it's me, myself, and I have help when I need it and I outsource when I need it. And I've built an amazing team. But a lot of the times, the output that we're seeing is one
Self-made.
one self-made entrepreneur working really, really hard, making a lot of sacrifices along the way, making a lot of mistakes along the way,
Sure.
and just putting myself out there, being brave enough to do so, and putting my blood, sweat, and tears into it.
I love it. Do you remember who your first client was back in like the meal prep? Or do you remember some of those early stories where you're like, oh my God, yes, I'm doing this kind of thing, where you
I
feel like you
do.
caught a break?
I think one of my big breaks was one of my first meal prep clients. It was a client in Beverly Hills, and I'm so grateful for them. I worked with them for a handful of years, and they loved international cuisine. So
Cool.
I was able to experiment and play around with food through cooking for my client.
Yeah.
So it allowed me to learn new things. They requested things that I didn't know about, and I learned how to do it. And I put my own flavor into those dishes and just had a knack for cooking and figuring things out. And I think they really allowed me to play around with what would become my repertoire as a chef.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I think, that you have certainly earned their trust and you are delivering on what they need. But to find the people to work with that let you just be you and support you as you grow is so invaluable. And I think we all have those people in life or in business. I love that you had that. Can you share who some of the celebrities are that you cook for or work
Well,
with?
one of the most infinite icons that I work with is Paris Hilton. She is amazing. It kind of goes hand in hand, Lisa Weintraub and Paris Hilton.
It
Lots
does
of
sound,
glitter, lots of good vibes. She
uh-huh.
is an incredible female entrepreneur, and she has paved her own way in her industry and has expanded her business in so many different areas. And she's brilliant. She's one of the kindest humans that I've met, and I will always support everything that she does because she's an incredible human, businesswoman, entrepreneur, advocate. I'm truly humbled to have the opportunity to work with her and be her chef. I
I
also
love that.
keeping her kitchen very hot.
Yeah, keep it hot. She, like, honestly, she has been absolutely amazing to watch. I can imagine that she came into sort of the spotlight with a very written story for her. And she, has really carved into her own space and has owned and found her own authentic way. And it's been really inspiring to watch. So I love that you have all of those wonderful things to say. You can feel her strength as she has continued to kind of evolve and share that with the world. And it's really cool to see. So that's awesome. I love to hear that translates to all aspects of her life and how it is to work with her as well. Very, very cool.
Yeah, she's great. And she's also a definition of writing her own story. And
Yes.
it's really beautiful to watch her evolution and to be part of the team that helps elevate women, elevating women.
I'm literally obsessed. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, I cut you off because I was so excited about Paris Hilton. But who else? You were going to mention maybe somebody else? outs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful. There's a few that I'm like NDA'd for that
Yep.
I can't
Yep.
say. I
Fully
mean, I was on
respect.
Big Brother. I do know how to keep some secrets because, NDAs. And I also work with the Umansky sisters, Farah, Alexia, Sophia. They're Kyle Richards' daughters. I've worked with the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I've worked with NFL superstars, Fred Warner of the 49ers, Super
Awesome.
Bowl football. And the list just keeps on growing. There are a few that I can't say, but I
Sure.
am always very grateful. People of the caliber that I work with in terms of celebrity I say they're people like you and me that have just worked really hard in their career to excel and have done amazing things that just to support their growth in their path in life is fantastic to help nourish them and to be someone behind the scenes to help within their own story, athletes in the NFL during off-season training or celebrities trying to, maintain healthy lifestyles or working towards a certain goal or role or having a dinner party with the people that they love and sitting around a table laughing and connecting with friends and family or having a business dinner. We're all humans and we all connect on that level.
I love that. And I love that you said that the people that you work with feel like so similar to you in that, like, this going back to the intention of the episode, right? If you have an authentic connection to who you are as your own person, to your voice, to how you show up in the world, the universe has a way of attracting like-minded people. And, we all know what it feels like to vibe with your people versus kind of like others that are also wonderful people, but just not cut from your cloth. And it's so different. And I feel like that is just kind of like the magic of how absolutely driven by your hard work, your networking, your, delivery on all of your things. But there is something really energetically amazing about how good people attract good people that support good people. And it's just really appreciate how the world works that way.
Exactly. Good people want to work with good people and be surrounded by that. And a lot of the spaces that I'm in, I work with venture capitalists. I work with business humans. I work with entrepreneurs. I work with creatives. I work with so many different kinds of humans that hire me. There is a vast list of the categories of people and their jobs and their careers and what I've built my network around and who I am and the people that refer people out, or I use this or I use that. It's by being you, by working hard, by being a good person. And people in the entrepreneurship space just want to be around other people that elevate them to be the best version of themselves.
100%.
That's part of my journey as well. Anyone can do a job, but it's the intangible aspects of that person that really elevate those spaces and allow people to thrive even more.
I love that you said that. You read my mind for my next question. I can imagine that food prep, catering, event planning, especially in LA, is a highly crowded category, right? And I know you were there at the onset and, have really created it. But how do you continue, or what do you think serves you to differentiate yourself or to continue to be relevant, be different, to learn and to grow when it is just, there's a bazillion podcasts and we all have this kind of notion where there is, and I so deeply believe there is room for everybody. And you just kind of have to own that 10% of what makes you and your business different, and then just kind of show up as yourself. So how are you surviving and thriving in such, as I imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, a crowded category?
Yeah. So every year is different in the catering world. And as an entrepreneur, you don't get a promotion as an entrepreneur. You have to create your own promotions and opportunities.
It's so
you're not
true.
being like done being an entrepreneur, gonna move to this other company.
Right.
Like entrepreneurship is your company.
Yes, this is it. I promote myself to queen of the queens.
There you go. So as an entrepreneur, we have to create our own opportunities. And the economy fluctuates,
Sure.
people's how they want to be surrounded socially fluctuates, the events that people put on, like the catering industry and event industry is very fluid. So with that being said, there are so many ways to keep working hard or to keep working differently. So as Plates by Lisa, I wanted to launch the sister company, which is Batch Best Friend. So I launched a second company instead of just that started as an experience from Plates by Lisa, but I launched her into her own brand.
I love
And,
it.
my vision for that is to bring it around to the top batch destinations in the country and to expand that way. But at the forefront of my mission and my expansion is connection and creation. I'm fueled by creation as an entrepreneur. And because of that, success comes after. And my
Ooh.
intention is always, we all have to support ourselves, and we choose a path that we can create how we support ourselves. But that's not what initially fuels me. And I think as an entrepreneur that I'm able to build the success that I want by having an intention that is not motivated by monetary success or
Yes.
by visibility success. Success is what's inside,
I was just going to
I
say an inside job. Success is an inside job.
It's an inside job. So I
Yes.
think in an industry that is ever so evolving, that staying true to who you are and what you want to create and output and being brave enough to do so is what fuels me. I also don't really look too much at what other people are doing.
Yeah.
I know
Yes.
a lot of people look at what everyone else is doing and they're like, oh, I can do that. And they add it. But
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes things I'm doing are similar to what other people's
Sure.
companies are doing, but I'm not looking at it for my own ideas and for my own fuel. So I'm problem solving. If something's not working, I'm going to do it a different way or create a different system. If I want to create something fun, I do it. If I want to create something community oriented, I do it. And I think staying focused in my intention and authenticity as an entrepreneur and not worrying too much about what other people are doing allows me to excel on my path and be open to my road.
Absolutely. That is one of my biggest pieces of advice for people who are going down the entrepreneurship path, who are thinking about starting a business, big or small. I'm like, keep your eyes on your own paper, because that is when the imposter syndrome sneaks in. That's when the comparison sneaks in. And I absolutely love also, like, I don't think anyone really understands how long it takes a business to become profitable. You have to hang in there for a while. And those are the formative years where you get really good at running your business. And like you are talking about, get really, really tight on what your vision is. And honestly, what makes you get up in the morning and be like, fuck yes, I love this job. I love this opportunity. And like, I never want to lose that. And I will hang in there and continue to be scrappy. I will continue to put myself out there. I will continue to, problem solve, learn, evolve, and grow. But I'm so, as you said, and, as you live by, so aligned to what your intention is, how you are authentic as a person and as a business owner. And that's what keeps it going. So for
Exactly.
you, is it like that creativity component that is like your fuck yes, I love this job? Like, what is it for you that you're like, I can't wait to wake up every morning and work on my business?
I love creating. I love connecting.
Yeah,
I love people. And I think we need more ways of real life connection.
I love that.
And those are the meaningful, at least for me,
Mm-hmm.
but those meaningful moments that uplift us, that fill up our cup, and no one can drink from an empty cup. And we live in a world with a lot of technology
Yes.
and a lot of connection through technology, but what I love to focus on is connection that's part of the human experience in real life. And
Yes.
I integrate that into my business. So what that looks like is I'm at the farmer's market hand picking your fruits and veggies from farmers that grow it with their families on their land, that I know their stories and their
Awesome.
kids and their
Mm.
families. And that's where your tomato comes from.
Oh, that makes me so warm and
And
fuzzy. I
it's
love that.
organic, it's
Mm-hmm.
sustainable, it's good for the community, purchasing power. My clients'
Mm-hmm.
money goes back into the community for supporting small businesses. I love to work with female vendors. My
Yeah.
florist, the Sweetser Life, she is an amazing florist that started in corporate for decades and then started her own business because she wanted to write her own story.
That a
I
girl.
work with, like cookie vendors and balloon vendors, and they're amazing female entrepreneurs that if I can create a space that allows everyone else to excel in their art, in their craft, in their creativity, and we can do it together,
Hmm.
that makes the world a better place.
I'm like
So
snapping big time for this. I'm a
if your
sorority girl. I'm
intention
like,
is to
yeah.
have a dinner party with your
Mm-hmm.
10 best friends and take a break from whatever is going on in your life to be connected, to have hard conversations, to have fun conversations, to laugh, to cry, to be real,
Yeah.
you know that behind that is someone that has put every intention along the way to make that experience meaningful for you, to see you, to hear you. Eat from a production from 5 people to 150 people. That intention never changes. And that is what I can always guarantee is consistent in my company, in my events. I have my teams running events without me. I'm not always there. And to build and that intangible aspect has been the foundation in everything I do. And that's what I bring into people's homes, into people's lives, onto people's TV screens. That will always be there. And that is the intention that is most important to me.
I literally love this so, so, so very much. I cannot tell you how much it means to hear, how inspiring it is. I know I'm inspired and I feel like we are very much so cut from the same cloth, but it feels good. It always feels good to hear these things back and to keep us on the right path. And I
Mm-hmm.
know there are so many women listening out there who needed that nudge back to themselves, back to their intention, back to what brings them joy. And like also to stand in their power and be like, I can run a business that connects all these other businesses, supports all these other businesses. Everything about that just gives me all the warm and fuzzies and the hell yes. I love this. Hey, busy moms and aspiring entrepreneurs. If you've got a business dream on your heart, but only 20 hours a week or less to make it happen, I'm here for you. I'm Betsy, a busy mom of 4 and a business coach obsessed with helping women just like you build thriving businesses that fit your life, not the other way around. After 20 years in marketing and building my own nonprofit and e-commerce business and a successful podcast, I know exactly what it takes to go from overwhelmed to empowered. That's why I've created my self-paced digital courses designed to help you move forward with clarity and confidence. Whether you're starting from scratch or recalibrating an existing business, my courses will take you from stuck and overwhelmed to simplified, organized, and confident in your next steps. And most importantly, confident in yourself. With titles like Building a Business Around Balance and Joy, Slay Imposter Syndrome and Show Up, Marketing Made Easy, Empowering Success with Grow Math Financial Planning, and Overcoming Overwhelm, and keep going. You'll get simple, sharp, tested strategies that work. Each course is just $79, or save $100 and grab all 5 for $295. Every course is a video with slides by me, plus free worksheets to guide you through. Learn on your own time, at your own pace, and in the privacy of your own home. Let's make your business dream a reality, even if you only have a few hours a week. Visit writeyourownstory.co/FFA-courses or click the link in the show notes below. Ladies, it's time to step into your power, make your money, and build the life you've been dreaming of. And I can't wait to help you get there. Again, visit writeyourownstory.co/FFA-courses or click the link in the show notes below. Okay, so you are like literally running a bajillion events, launching sister companies, doing all the things, evolving your business. Where and how did Big Brother come into play and what made you want to go on the show? I love this. You're like, sure, why not? Tell me everything.
That's kind of what it is. Like, why not? Let's do Big Brother 26.
Yeah. How did this even fall into your lap? Like, give it to me straight.
I think a few years ago, it started as let's go back a little bit.
Sure, let's do it. We got time. I've got my tea. Yeah.
Yeah, let's hydrate first.
Hydration break.
So I think it started as an entrepreneur, you're constantly looking to expand. And I wanted to expand more than just on-site chef catering.
Yeah.
I wanted to diversify my business and my capability. So a handful of years ago, I started putting my face in front of the camera and not just the food, to
Yeah.
position myself in a way where people can hear my story and to be interested in the woman behind the magic. A lot of
Yeah.
times, catering companies, you see the food and you see the setup, but you don't necessarily see the behind the scenes or the people making it happen. So I wanted people to see the person that was making it happen and to create my own visibility for myself and for my company. And so those decisions were intentional. You know, when you're first starting as an entrepreneur, like, you don't have money for PR
Nope.
and you don't have budget to pay a magazine or a website to write about you. That's what PR is. What we see a lot of the times, a lot of it is for profit.
Yes.
And I didn't have that. So what I did was I wrote my own stories on my own blogs
That a
so
girl.
people can see it. I found a way as an entrepreneur to do all the things that I wanted that I didn't have budget to do, because I'm an entrepreneur trying to start the businesses and be part of the growth.
Sure.
And I created that for myself because no one would create it for me in a way that was affordable. So
Totally.
again,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you're not going to write my story. I'll write my own.
Yep.
So I did it.
I love
I
it.
turned every obstacle along the way. How can I make this happen? I'm not going to let someone have power over my trajectory. And
Yes.
so I started putting myself out there. I made my TikToks with me. I wrote stories about myself. I reached out to people. I showed up to different events, and I intentionally wanted more. I want to be on reality shows. I would love my own cooking
Yes.
show. I would love to be here sitting on a podcast with you. But for me to be sitting here on this podcast with you started 3 years ago when
I
I
love
started
that.
positioning myself in a certain way and creating my own opportunities. That in the business world, you have to build foundation to be in this position.
I love
So
this.
that's how, when Big Brother was kind of happening, my best friend actually, we watched Big Brother all the time. He's a super fan. Summers we would watch Big Brother over like this decade, living in West Hollywood. And he's
Totally.
like, you would be perfect for this show, right?
Yeah.
And so as I want to be more than just like, I'm an entrepreneur. And
Yeah.
there's so many things that I can do and that I'm capable of. So Big Brother 26 just seemed like the perfect fit. And when I got the call, I knew from the moment I got the call that I can't talk too much about the whole process. But the
Sure.
minute I got just the initial call, I knew that this was mine. I had manifested it. I had worked hard for an opportunity like this. And the great thing about Big Brother is that they have contestants from all over the world, all different backgrounds. And I wanted to apply my senses as an entrepreneur into the game strategy. Obviously, in the game, I'm not building a business on manipulation and backstabbing.
That
And
a
so
girl.
I tried my best as an entrepreneur, but, you know, I was evicted week 2. It's totally fine. I tried my best. I was authentic to who I am, and I played my heart out on that game. But I just wanted to apply that to the game and show the world who I was, and also connect with more people and inspire people that they can do anything that they can set their mind to, no matter if it's extremely difficult or just a dream playing out in front of you.
I love that you're like, yeah, so what? I got evicted on week 2. Like, I'm sure you would have loved to have won or whatever, but like, that is another thing that is so important for everyone to hear, that like, it is not about the outcome. It is about the experience. And, you know, so many people in business, I don't know about you, but I have micro failed 1,000 times, right? A day, legit. And so what, you know, someone might consider not making it past week 2 to be like, oh, I didn't reach my goal, or that, you know, like that would be like, quote unquote, a failure. Farthest thing from it. You said that you had manifested this exposure, this experience, this growth, this a platform for years. And that is the hugest win ever. And how much did you learn from that experience?
The most. I think that what I loved about Big Brother was putting every piece of who I am into playing a game. They say like no one will understand besides the people in Big Brother what it's actually like.
Yeah.
And it is such a unique experience because you test everything. I feel like everything in my life prepared me for that. The business conversations that I have, the clients that I've had to deal with, you know, what it feels like when someone's trying to use you in business
Mm.
and you feel that their intentions have ulterior motives. I was able to apply a scenario that happened a few years ago in business to the world to the Big Brother world when someone in the game talked to me when I had power.
Yep.
That was my real life experience, that I knew how to deal with a situation in the house in a game because of my real world experience. I know what it's like in business for people to try to manipulate you for their own personal game, and it's not synergy of people uplifting you. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn that the hard way
Yes, as
when
we all
I
do.
I wanted an opportunity so badly. I said yes to it, even though business wise I wanted it, but
Mm-hmm.
personal wise it did not feel right. But I said yes because I was so focused on the vision, but it was not the correct yes.
I get it. I
And
get it.
I had to say yes and make a mistake, a really
Mm-hmm.
big mistake that could have cost a reputation or a
Sure.
relationship or a lot of money
Yes.
from
And
someone else's actions not operating at the same integrity that I have. They had ulterior motives and they're willing to play dirty in business. And I don't build my business and grow that way. But I had to
I,
make that mistake to know how to lift myself back up and what things feel like and what things should look like. And I think that was such a big learning experience to not be so focused on the goal to make sure it's the right decision to get there. And those are just so many examples that I just applied in the Big Brother house, in addition to like a million other, like meditating and taking care of your mental health and understanding whose energy is not your energy and making
mm,
split decisions in the moment and then moving on, having direct, open conversations. Yeah, that's Big Brother. It is a wild ride and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
I love that because I was literally just about to ask. Like, I love that you were saying these are all the things that, like, that is the beauty of life is that we collect these experiences and this knowledge and this wisdom and we get to apply it as we go. And it feels so, and our integrity continues to get stronger and stronger. And as you were telling the story of this person that you said yes to in business, that just like, you were like, I knew in my heart it was wrong, but for the business, it felt so right. This is rhetorical. You know, when you're acting out of integrity and oh my God, does that feel icky, doesn't it? Even though you think you're doing the right thing for your business, you just know, but you have learned from that experience and we're able to apply so many things. And then my other question was going to be, okay, so Big Brother is like such a unique experience. What are the things that you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I learned that? Or like, this was the perspective I needed. And it sounds like it was how to take care of your mind and your body, how to have open conversations and direct conversations, how to make quick decisions. Like, what are those things that you're like, this was an invaluable experience because coming out of Big Brother?
Yeah, it to test you at your core for everything that you are
Wow.
in a moment where it's literally like 10 year, like I don't know what, no, 33 years of life experience in
Yeah.
a moment to make the best decision possible is like a testament to the journey that I've been in, the things that I've overcome, the things I've faced head on, the things I've cried with, the things I've laughed with, the things I've learned from, the things I've struggled with, all in a moment I was able to apply. And I think the opportunity of Big Brother allowed those things to be practiced every minute of every day because you have to be strong physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally to handle it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so I walk away being very proud of myself to be that person in those moments, to be a businesswoman, to be a friend, to be a game player, to be an entrepreneur, to be a woman supporting women, to be an ally, to have hard conversations.
Yeah.
to think on my toes, to take care of my mental health and move on in a space where everyone is still there around you. And you just have to pick yourself up and keep moving forward. And I apply that every minute of every day in there. And my life and my business has taught me to do that.
I love that. That is such a great synopsis of like how to collect different pieces of you and to be so intentionally aware of all of them and to apply all of them, which is the absolute perfect segue into the next thing that I wanted to talk about. I really, really wanted to hone into this is all so fascinating. And I feel like we've touched on quite a bit of it, but just to really hone in on our intention and talk about like what does it mean to be different and authentic and why is that important? So when I think about it, like so you're literally on reality television in front of like all these millions of viewers. This is truly, as you mentioned, the test to stay true to your core, whether it be on reality TV in front of millions of people or whether it be walking into a new client. How do you find the courage to stay true to who you are?
You just do it.
Yeah, truly.
You just be authentic and be yourself. And everyone else is taken. And I don't know any other way but to be authentic to who I am. I think throughout my 20s, we think we knew who we are, but we're still figuring it out. And I think it was like late 20s, early 30s that I was like, this is me. My meditation teacher, when I was reflecting some of the experience and healing from being in that space,
Sure. Yeah, of
and
course.
processing a lot of the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
I experienced. The word that came up to her about my journey was discernment and being strong and rooted and grounded in who you are and what you know and what you will say yes to and what you will say no to, like very sure.
I love that.
And I figured out who I was over the past few years from living.
Yeah.
And I have my bottom lines and I have my core, and that comes from a lot of deep self work all the time, every day, to be the best version of yourself as an entrepreneur. And that doesn't come without a lot of low lows. I think we don't talk about, as entrepreneurs, as female entrepreneurs, as humans, I don't think people talk enough about the low lows.
Agreed.
I cry. I have bad days. I have bad weeks. I think there was a time as an entrepreneur that I literally cried every day for a year because it was so hard and I didn't know my direction fully at the time. And I didn't
Yes.
have a solution and I had to create my own solution. And I didn't even know what that was.
Right. Because you didn't know your direction yet. Yes.
And I was figuring it out. So I think an accumulation of personal relationships, family relationships, clients, mistakes make you figure out your authentic self. And I very much connect with my spirituality. Meditation and mindfulness has really allowed me to sit with myself, to uncover unhealthy habits, to figure out who I am, what makes my life beautiful and meaningful, what makes me feel grounded and happy. We have to practice happiness.
Yes.
People think, oh, that makes me happy, but we have to practice happiness. There's an awesome documentary on Netflix. It's called Happy. It's the study of happiness.
Ooh.
And one of my favorite takeaways from that is, we study depression and we study mental health and we study anxiety, but let's focus on something positive. Let's focus on happiness, but you have to put it out there. And my favorite thing is if you are doing the same thing, you can create more serotonin and dopamine in your body by walking left and going around the block to the same destination because you need to be stimulated by new things and new ways of doing things.
Yes.
So even mindful moments and practices allows you to ground in who you are and what you're doing to show up as your authentic self. And I definitely have a lot of confidence.
I love that, as you should.
But that comes from being built. In my younger self, I didn't have a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
I was bullied in high school. I was always picked on. I was always different. And until I surrounded myself with people that uplift my authenticity and are my people that get me and see me. And until I figured out who I was and built that love and deep relationship for myself and who I am and what I'm not willing to compromise. Until then, I wasn't able to show up in a room being fully, fully authentic and courageous to be myself and to not be too phased if it doesn't align with someone else, because not everyone's going to like you.
Totally. I
And that's
love,
okay. But if you love
yes.
yourself and you're a good person and you're respectful and you understand people's differences, that's what matters.
Absolutely. So those moments where you're coming out of high school, you've been bullied, you're like getting ready to have a fresh start. I feel like so many of us who have faced adversity are like, I'll show you. And then it becomes about proving a goal, making it to a certain level of whatever, losing the weight, whatever it may be. How did you find yourself more about like, I'll prove you, I'll love myself more than you could ever love me? How did you get there versus where so many of us have been like, you know what, maybe if I just please someone. Granted, you and I are almost 10 years apart. So, like, many people who are in their 40s are like still just all recovering people pleasers because we're like, what? I just thought the more people pleasing I was, the more he liked me, the safer I felt. But how are you able to connect to what's more important is your worth? And that is where your confidence comes from. And how are you able to love yourself more than anyone else could? And to know that at such a young age.
Yes. So I love that you're talking about that. And I think it's so important as females to talk about age and entrepreneurship, and
Yeah,
just the dialogue is so important because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we're all going
totally.
through the same exact thing at different levels in our life at different paces. And it's not linear and it can take
Mm-mm.
time and ebb and flow. So I think internally is where it starts. You know,
Mm,
when we're younger, we seek external, and external feels great,
totally.
but that will fade. Or
Mm-hmm.
you might have a few days without it. We live in a day where you have a like and then you're like, "Oh,"
Mm-hmm.
but that is your brain tricking you into that validation, into
Yes.
that connection. And so we have to connect to ourselves and have that internal love and that internal grounding and that internal connection before anything else. It's cliche, like, until you love yourself, you're not going to find love, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Obvious, Obviously there's people that can continue to help you grow along the way, and you can either be whole or pieces, but if people are willing to match you at your level and help build you up instead of break you down, those
Yes.
are the people that you want to be around. I think a big word for me was boundaries. Once I learned what
Mm.
I'm with you. I'm a people pleaser as well.
Yep.
I love
Yep.
people to be happy. I've built a career out of fulfilling people's needs in the service industry in terms of time and theme and executing something to someone else's vision. And with that, there is that people pleaser in me, that is that younger girl that wanted to do things the right way and wanted to do things well, and that A plus, like, here's an
Yep.
apple kind of person.
Mm.
That's me, but that has carried through to awesome opportunities. But also, you have to learn boundaries within that.
Yes. Yes.
And
God.
I don't think I
Brand new
knew what
word. Yeah.
I didn't know what
Yeah.
boundaries were,
Me either.
honestly, until I was like, what, 27 or something?
Girl, you got me beat. Yeah.
I didn't conceptualize it. My biggest thing was like, I didn't realize that I could say no to a situation that didn't serve me, and that I wasn't responsible for someone else's feelings with a boundary. That's a boundary, right? To
Yes.
say no and to
Absolutely.
have your voice. So I didn't have, for some reason, I didn't develop that. Even though I
I,
was taught it, even though there's different circumstances, I don't think like the word boundaries fully clicked until I was like 27 or 28, somewhere around there. And
well, you sure
now
beat me. I was 39.
my favorite word is boundaries. It's just a
Me too.
boundary.
Me too.
Boundaries protect your soul.
Yes.
Boundaries are what aligns your values, your input, your output, and your ability to show up to spaces as your authentic self, while also knowing what you want to put your energy into and what you don't. So having boundaries with friends, with coworkers, with clients, with people that don't align in your space, it's so important to protect your foundation.
1,000%. And that goes right back to having the courage to do things differently because boundaries are kind of new for everybody. And to be
Mhm.
a leader in a boundary setting, you can say no with all the love in the world. but no is no, like hard stop. This is something that I think women especially need to continue to practice. And we're on it. I really do feel the tide changing categorically for us with this, but I love that you have said that. Are you like me and taking at least an hour to plan your meals every week and then to grocery shop on top, only to find out that I throw away half of it because I didn't have it in me to season and chop and prep night after night? It's so embarrassing and I feel awful about it. Are you also like me and worry about if any of the things I buy are healthy enough for me and the family? Well, let me tell you about Hungry Root. Hungry Root is my partner for healthy living. Hungry Root helps me save time, save money. I shop sustainably, and I eat what makes me feel my absolute best. Their mission is to make it easier for more people to eat healthy and feel great every day. Some of my very favorite aspects of Hungry Root are healthy meals in 10 minutes or less. I mean it. No chopping, no seasoning, ever. They do it all for you. Honestly, full stop. This is my very, very favorite thing. Every meal is so easy to put together. Often they have steamer bags for vegetables and all sorts of great microwave options too. They also give you healthy snacks and pantry supplies my kids and I both love. They're whole, trusted ingredients, which makes me feel like a great mom because I actually know that I'm putting good things in the pantry and in the fridge. Personalized recommendations based on your goals. Mine is heart healthy, and it ships to me on my schedule. The best part is also less food waste. No more throwing food out each week, which feels amazing. All you have to do is take their super simple quiz and share your preferences, goals, must-haves, and they'll recommend a plan for you and just fill your fridge with food you love. You could be like me and let them surprise you with meals each week, or you can go in and adjust each week before they actually send it to you. And let me tell you, they love your feedback. This is the one thing I actually do. I'll go in there and I'll tell them to send me more of a certain meal or less of a certain snack because we didn't really care for it. One simple click and your order is adjusted. Hungry Root is so much more than a meal kit. They send full-size groceries, which is so much better than pre-portioned package you get with your meal kits. Honestly, couldn't be happier. Use your code WriteYourOwnStory40 for 40% off your first delivery plus a free gift for life. Use code WriteYourOwnStory40 or just click the link in the show notes for 40% off your first delivery plus a free gift for life. 40% off is huge. The free gift for life promotion is a choice of free cookie dough for life, free veggies for life, or free protein for life. For life means the length of your subscription. Honestly, guys, I love Hungry Root so much. It saves my butt every single week, and I could not recommend it enough. Don't forget, use the code WriteYourOwnStory40 or just click the link in the show notes. Okay, so I am just absolutely so grateful for everything that you've talked about. And I want to be super mindful of your time. But I love to end every episode with a couple of questions that are really just all around women supporting women. So, some of my favorite ones to ask are, what do you wish women talked more openly about?
I wish people talked about mental health and the struggles a little bit more and had dialogue in that so people don't feel alone in what they're going through. As an entrepreneur, it's very isolating.
Yes.
And you think you're the only one going through it because it's your own business doing something your own way. But there's other female entrepreneurs that are out there within their respective business that are going through the same thing.
Yes.
And I love talking
Same girl.
and I love connecting, and we need more spaces. And that's why I appreciate your space and your platform so much to share that. We need more spaces that allow open dialogue around that and to discuss the hard stuff and to be vulnerable and to talk about the hard days that we have or the hard months that we have, the failures, the confusion, the anxiety, the isolation. And if we talk about those aspects as an entrepreneur and as a human, we'll feel less alone in our business ventures. And within that, also create some beautiful opportunities to connect with more people in an authentic way and hopefully uplift people from there. If you're kind and real and vulnerable, it also allows space for other people to voice that.
I love that. Don't you feel too that sometimes I've found myself, and maybe I'm the only one, but I highly doubt it, where it's not that I'm not willing to be vulnerable or share what is hard for me, But sometimes I worry that what is hard for me will feel too heavy for someone else. And I'm like, you've got your own stuff. The last thing you want to do is hear my hard thing. But then when I share my hard thing, one, the people, my people who are my, who love me, who are safe, who are just, the beautiful, authentic people, they always have room for what my thing is. And then the other beautiful benefit is that when you say your hard truth out loud, I have found at 100% rate that there's this weight that melts off their shoulders because it gives them permission to feel what is hard for them and to share that out loud. It's like this, just the knowledge to know that you are not the only one struggling is incredibly liberating. Especially, I found this in conversations with women. I don't know if it is the same for men. I'm raising 3 boys, and a daughter, so I probably should start figuring this out a little bit more. But I know for women, when I started having these like, oh my God, like verbal vomit conversations of being like, this is what's so hard today, or like, oh my God, I think, I need to go on antidepressants because this divorce is like, I can barely get out of bed, or like whatever it may be, people would just be like, oh my God, I have a really hard thing too. And all of a sudden they feel brave enough to share it and to face it. And I think that is really a game changer for women.
It's the space. It's having that space. And something that I think my friends taught me a handful of years ago, I always thought I had to show up as 100%. And they go, if you need to show up as 60% or 40%, do it. Aww. Show up in that way. And you don't have to put on a facade. If you're going through something, if you're feeling a certain way, we don't have to hide behind our feelings and pretend. Obviously, there's a time and place for everything. It's not at your best friend's birthday or at a baby shower or a wedding kind of thing.
Right.
There's mindfulness in that. But if your friends are going to a picnic at the park and you're having a hard day, show up as 80%. And if there's space, talk about that, because those people love you and want to be there for you, and you don't have to go through it alone. And I think the hyper independence and the hyper entrepreneurship that a lot of us have, we feel like or at least for me, I felt like I have to figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
But I don't have to figure anything out on my own. You can lean on community. You can lean on friends. You can lean on family. It's so important to have female entrepreneur mentors. I think in my early 20s, that's something that I was thinking. I go, this is hard to relate to my friends in this aspect because they weren't entrepreneurs. So I had to seek out people in my community that I could have the conversations and that relatability to. And it's very important to have those different aspects and to show up and have dialogue. And one of my favorite things that I've learned in this, again, our boundaries, right? And respecting other people. Sometimes if there's a heavier conversation or there's more of a like word dump that you need to do.
Yeah.
You ask for space to do that.
Yep.
Because sometimes people don't have the capacity. I found that your best friends love you and will listen and it won't feel heavy, even though we feel it's heavy.
Yes.
But then there's also some times where someone's going through a lot too, and it's not the times you go, hey, I'm going through a hard time. Is it okay if I talk to you about it?
Yeah.
And do a little, not emotional, emotional
like a
dumping,
check-in.
right?
Yeah.
Like a check and be like, hey, I'm going through some stuff. Can I process some stuff with you?
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel like an emotional dumping. They could be like, hey, yes, this is great. Or, hey, tonight's not a good night, but let's set up a time on Tuesday to connect.
Yes.
And I think prefacing that also for you or me who needs to talk about something with people that we love and care about and that have our best interests in mind and help us to see the things that we need to. Having a little extra permission in those spaces is really important as well.
I love that. That's so good. There's this great Brene Brown clip that goes around where she and her husband will sit down and they'll like come home from work and be like, I'm at 40%. Where are you? Where are you? And they'll sort of like calibrate and hold space for where they are. And I think that just the permission to do that in friendship and in other relationships as well. And honestly, like even as an entrepreneur, like you can show up and say like, I'm sick today. I'm at 80% or, I'm 60% or whatever it may be, but just to own your truth, I think essentially is so great. And I always find that when you say the thing that's kind of like scary out loud, it like takes away the scary, like if I've ever giving like a huge presentation and for some reason I feel really nervous that I'm going to screw up a certain part, I'll be like, I'm so nervous, I'm going to screw up this part before I even start. And then it's like funny. And all of a sudden it doesn't apply. So that notion of being like, hey, I have a big dump truck worth of feelings that I need to dump somewhere is now, do you have space for that now? Or if not, can we please put that on the calendar? Because I am trying so hard to process. Yeah. I love, those are great, 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 great pieces of advice. Lisa, this has been an absolute pleasure. How can people, your energy is so contagious and so authentic. How can people get more of you? I want to tell them where all the places where we can find you and see more.
I love that. Thank you so much. Well, if you want to follow my professional journeys, you can follow Plates by Lisa and Batch Best Friend on Instagram. If you want to have a peek into the story that I'm writing as my own, you can follow my personal journey at Dulce de Lisa on Instagram as well. All of my businesses are also all over Twitter and LinkedIn, TikTok, all of the socials. Go show your girls some support. My journey is far from over. The sky is the limit, and there is so much more to come. You can watch my businesses grow. You can watch my lifestyle and all of the dreams that I am going after and creating for myself. And I always appreciate the love and the support that you have shown me and that you have given me. It means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. So ladies, if you're out there listening, let's do some women supporting women. Let's go follow her across all those socials and cheer for her as she continues to build the life that she is dreaming about and just crushing it and being her authentic self along the way. This has had so many beautiful nuggets around what it means to be authentic, what it means to have your authenticity tested, how to find the confidence to push through, and how to sort of own the wiggles and sort of the swirls of life and to continue to find your ground again. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. It's such an important conversation to have. So if you guys are out there, please share this episode. It is just one of the ways that Lisa and I have shown up today to serve the female community and to encourage people to be their own authentic self and to be brave enough to do things differently. Lisa, I can't thank you enough. This has been an absolute pleasure. You guys, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Well, that's the end of this episode, but promise me, you won't stop here with whatever it is you're feeling or dreaming about. I hope you leave today feeling empowered to live life just as you see fit. If this podcast was helpful to you, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a review on whatever platform you're listening on. I genuinely just want to help women live the life they dream about. So if this type of content tracks with you, subscribe to this podcast or visit our website, writeyourownsstory.co, to download digital courses or to grab a journal and a mug to just dream in and dream with. It's your life, lady. Do you. And just remember, I'm rooting for you and you've totally got this.